On Sunday night in Coventry, multiple incidents took place at the end of Challenge Cup Game 24, Coventry Blaze versus the Guildford Flames, on the 24th of October 2021. Kevin Linskog. While this celebration is part of his normal game, what is not acceptable is to deliberately do this in front of multiple opposition players. After his initial celebration, Linskog moves away from his crease and intentionally continues in front of multiple different opposition players in different locations on the ice. This is both insightful and disrespectful towards the opposition players at the end of a tense and tightly contested hockey game. Linskog has been fined for these multiple, insightful and disrespectful actions. Jake Bolton. After Linskog's initial celebration, Coventry Blaze number 74 Nathaniel Halbert takes exception and cross-checks Linskog in the chest. Guildford Flames number 19 Jake Bolton, in retaliation, makes an illegal cross-check action directed at Halbert. Halbert had no way of protecting himself. The stick and hands of Bolton were raised in a manner that deemed the cross-check targeted at the area of Halbert's head. In addition, Bolton, when raising his stick to the head area, extended his arms in a direct motion towards Halbert's head. This type of action is deemed reckless and endangering, with a high risk of causing an injury. Bolton must refrain from retaliatory, reckless actions through the use of his stick. Effective immediately, Guildford Flames number 19 Jake Bolton is fined and suspended for 2 games. David Brawl. As the video shows, the game ends with the player in Coventry's attacking zone playing 6-on-3. An altercation ensues in front of the goal net, with Coventry already having a manpower advantage due to the power play and having an extra attacker with the goaltender pulled. We see Blaze forward David Brawl enter the attacking zone, having left the player's bench during an altercation, with the intention of joining or starting an altercation. Brawl ignores a clear instruction by the official to stay at the bench and continues to skate towards the altercation through the position held by the official, who had placed himself between the altercation and Brawl, and in doing so, Brawl makes contact to the official's head area with his left forearm, sufficient to dislodge the official's visor. Brawl gets involved in several altercations before he was removed from the area by the officials and skated towards the locker room with the official under the instruction of leaving the ice. We next see Brawl approximately 20 seconds later skating back towards the Guildford player's bench, where a further altercation had occurred, instead of having been in the locker room at this time. He again engages with opposition players already involved in an ongoing altercation and attempts to start a new altercation before he is removed from the area and escorted to the locker room area. To summarise, Brawl was assessed a minor penalty plus an automatic game misconduct as the first player leaving the player's bench, which carries an automatic minimum 1-game suspension. In addition, he was assessed a game misconduct for a physical abuse of officials. After consultation between the EIHL's hockey operations and the on-ice officials, it was confirmed that this was a Category 3 offence, physically demeaning or threatening an official, or applying force solely for the purpose of getting free of an official, which carries a tariff of up to 3 games. Finally, Brawl was adjudged to be the aggressor of an altercation and assessed appropriate major and game misconduct penalty. As this was during the final 5 minutes of the game, this carries an automatic minimum 1-game suspension. Effective immediately, Coventry Blazers number 15 David Brawl is fined and suspended for 4 games. David Clements. We first see Clements outside the Guildford team bench area, at that point in the game where he has no place being. Clements was not on the ice during the final play of the game and has left the player's bench to be on the ice outside the Guildford bench, ignoring the clear instructions of the officials to hold on at the respective team bench. Clements instigates an altercation by cross-checking Flames goaltender Kevin Linskog, who is in a vulnerable position and unable to protect himself. This inflames the situation on the ice at the bench. After the initial cross-check, Clements evades the officials initially and gets involved in further altercations before being restrained. He again breaks free of the officials and starts further altercations and is eventually removed from the area and escorted to the locker room. To summarise, Clements was adjudged to have left the players' bench with the intention of joining or starting an altercation. This carries an automatic minimum 1-game suspension. Clements was assessed a major and game misconduct for cross-checking, which will be added to his records, and he will be considered a repeat offender should it happen again this season. Finally, Clements was assessed the appropriate major and game misconduct as an aggressor. As this was in the last 5 minutes of the game, this carries an automatic minimum 1-game suspension. Effective immediately, Coventry Blazers number 58, David Clements, is suspended for 2 games and fined. Head coach Danny Stewart has been fined and warned about the future conduct of his players, specifically regarding controlling his bench.